When it comes to generating cash flow, there are always risks involved. The risk of a dividend cut, the risk of inflation, the risk of prices getting slashed in a recession. QYLD seems like great cash flow, but the price is always going down over time. There are very stable dividend stocks out there that continually raise their dividend, but you likely need a portfolio of at least $500,000 to $1 million to realistically retire on just the dividend income. Even selling covered calls comes with the risk of price cuts that limit your ability to sell options at or above your cost basis. Don't worry though. Average Joe is here and ready to solve the problem. Remember that these videos are for information and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. We've talked in length about QYLD selling call options at the money, which does generate a lot of cash flow but caps all of the potential growth in the stock and leaves you open to significant price reductions. If you sell covered calls in your own dividend portfolio, you have probably experienced this as well. The price of a stock drops significantly and then you have to choose whether or not you feel comfortable selling call options with a strike price below your cost basis. If you happen to get assigned, this would have your stock called away from you at a lower price than you bought it, a guaranteed loss. So then the question becomes, how do we best generate cash flow and give ourselves a pad if the stock goes down in value? In my opinion, this strategy we are talking about today is best utilized when you are, number one, living on your cash flow right now as opposed to growing your portfolio, and number two, best completed in a retirement account to avoid any potential taxable events. To get started, let's take a look at IWM, the Russell 2000 ETF. I like this one as it is the cheapest of the large index ETFs to own 100 shares. Let's say we own 100 shares right now with a cost basis of $195 per share. We want to sell a covered call to generate some cash flow. Let's take a look at a 30-day option for IWM that expires 9/23/2022. If you want to sell a call option at the money, you could generate $573. By doing this, you do not get to participate in any growth of the ETF's share price. If the price is $205 after 30 days, your option would get exercised and you would receive $19,500, even though the shares are worth $20,500. Now, what if instead during that time frame, the price dropped from $195.40 down to $192? You would still have your shares, but the amount of premium you could collect would be much smaller because your cost basis is much higher at $195 per share. At this point, you could choose to wait to sell a new call option until the price of IWM comes back up closer to your cost basis, or you could sell a covered call option anyways with a strike price at your cost basis and just collect as much premium as possible. In this situation, you could have given yourself some downside protection by buying a put option on IWM, but as you can see here, they are pretty expensive to purchase and it would erode a significant portion of your cash flow. How about a different solution I can almost guarantee you have never thought to do, and that is to sell in the money covered call options. To understand why this strategy is viable and worth doing, we need to first understand the differences between intrinsic option value and extrinsic option value, as it is very relevant to what I tell you next. Intrinsic value of an option measures how much the option is worth right now as measured by subtracting the strike price from the market price. Extrinsic value is best described as the time value of the option. It is a measure of what could happen between now and expiration. So extrinsic value plus intrinsic value equals the total value of the option. Let me give you an example. Let's say there is a stock with a current market price of $105 and there is a call option with a strike price of $100 with 15 days remaining until expiration. The current option price is $7.25. You can easily calculate intrinsic value as follows. $105 market price minus $100 strike price equals $5. This is the intrinsic value of the option. The remainder of the option's value, $7.25 minus $5, equals $2.50, and this is the extrinsic value of the option. These values are constantly shifting and adjusting as more time passes. Let's get back to our real life example with IWM. The current market price of IWM is $195.40 per share. Let's say I wanted to sell an in-the-money covered call with a strike price of $192 per share. The option chain tells us that you can sell this option for $7.55 per share, which expires in 29 days. When you sell this option, you are committing to sell IWM in 29 days for the price of $192 per share. Why would you do this? Let's break down the value of this option. Market price $195.40 minus strike price $192 per share equals $3.40 intrinsic value. The option price, $7.55 minus the intrinsic value of $3.40 equals $4.15 extrinsic value. Yes, you are committed to sell IWM at $190 per share in 29 days, but at the same time you are receiving the difference in that price right now. The $3.40 extrinsic value is being paid to you, plus you are getting an additional $4.15 compensation given the uncertainty of what could happen with the price of the stock in the next 29 days. What does this do? No matter what happens, you get to keep $755. If the stock price were to drop down to $192.01 per share, then you would still be in the money and your 100 shares would still be called away from you, but you were already compensated for that loss in full. That was the $3.40 intrinsic value we were compensated with at the beginning when we sold the option. You have lost protection from the market price, $195.40 down to $192 per share. If the stock falls below $192 per share, then that loss would not be protected. In fact, if the price settles on expiration below $192 per share, then the stock would not even be called away from you. You can even choose to sell further in the money, though the farther you go, the less extrinsic value you receive. So why would you do this? You would find this strategy appealing if you are living on your portfolio cash flow right now and trying to maximize cash flow while also protecting yourself from large drops in the stock price. You could also run this strategy if you felt very strongly that the markets were going to drop or your specific stocks were going to drop in value. From a tax standpoint, here's how I understand this to work. Remember, I'm not a tax professional, and this is not tax advice. If your shares get assigned at the strike price, you would experience a short-term capital loss. In the above example, if the stock settled at $193 per share, your capital loss would be $192 minus $195 equals $3 per share capital loss. Your cost basis was $195 and you sold it for $192. Additionally, you would be taxed on the gain from selling the option for $7.55 per share. You would net these two positions together, which would equate to a $4.55 or $455 short-term capital gain. There are a few other scenarios that could come up depending on if the option is bought back or if it expires worthless. I have included a helpful Schwab article on this issue in the description for you to review. Executing this strategy in a retirement account obviously makes things much more simple as you don't have to deal with the taxable events. Here's an example with XOM, or ExxonMobil, which I currently own in my own portfolio. The current market price is $99.09 per share. You could sell an at-the-money covered call expiring in 30 days for $3.35 per share, or $335, expiring in 28 days. You could sell an out-of-the-money covered call for approximately $1.80 per share, or $180, at a strike price of $104. Or you could sell an in-the-money covered call for $5.70 per share with a $96 strike price. The intrinsic value of this in-the-money call option is $3.09, and the extrinsic value is $2.61 per share. The $3.09 per share is your protection in the case of a loss, and the extrinsic value is the money you are gaining. You have downside protection from the current market price of $99.09 down to $96 over the next 28 days. It's not a perfect strategy for everybody, but I feel it's an excellent way to collect significant cash flow right now and protect yourself from drops in the stock price. This is a perfect strategy for retired investors. If the stock gets called away from you, then you can always move on to a different stock in the right price range and then rinse and repeat. Check out this video right here to learn more about the 5 different levels of cash flow investing. Be sure to click on that red subscribe button as well so you don't miss the next video where I break down my top 5 dividend stocks for selling call options for September 2022. Thanks for watching, and make sure to leave your 2 cents down in the comments below.